Good morning. Welcome to yoga this morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning in spring, and I'm really glad that I'm able to get outside to teach because it's always a little cramped inside. All right, today I want to talk about the neck just a little bit before we start. I have here a tube sock, and this is one of those socks that didn't have a mate that I stole from my husband. And what I did was I put a couple smaller size tennis balls. You can use regular size tennis balls. I'm trying to get it out to show you. Or like lacrosse balls. And I even have another one that has like a bigger squishy ball in it. These are great if you have any tension in your upper back or neck to release that tension. And the nice thing about it being in this pouch, I'm not going to call it a sack, is that then if you drop it, you have this convenient handy dandy sock to hold it in. This is also great for putting up against a wall, and you can release any tension in your back up against the wall. And that's really nice if you're not like Gwyneth Paltrow or Oprah and you can't afford to have a masseuse on staff. I use that a lot because I tend to get a lot of tension here. All right, so let's start out seated. I'm going to scooch back just a bit because I'm right in your face. Here we go. Okay, so pull out your buttons from underneath you. That way you can sit up nice and tall. You're also welcome to roll up your mat a little bit if that gets you to sit up in a nice tall stance. And let's just start out kind of releasing the neck a little bit. So I want you to listen to your right shoulder. And I want your face to be facing me. I don't want you to be looking down or up. Just a nice level chin here. All right, let's come through center and go to the other side. And I'm a little tighter on this side. All right, let's come through center and then cross your arms here because I don't want your shoulders to go along with you. We're just gonna turn from side to side to see what the range of our neck motion is and to kind of wake up that neck. And just notice if there's any hinging or cracking here. Just so that if we do this later on, you can compare how it feels. All right, release your hands, just rest them on your knees now, and we're gonna gently look down at our lap and then look up. Slowly looking down and slowly looking up. All right, let's circle around a little bit here. Just kind of releasing any tension in the spine. And other direction. And now coming to sitting up straight, I'm just gonna kind of hinge from side to side here. Just kind of moving my rib cage a little bit here. We're just trying to move our body in different directions because we tend to move in very fixed planes, and that can sometimes limit our mobility in the long term. So in our practice, we kind of want to do some different movements. so that we can maintain mobility. And I'm going to kind of move towards this left knee and then back, forward and back, just moving that rib cage a little bit here. Okay, and let's go the other direction. And I'm sorry if you're doing this in front of your partner and they're making fun of you. But you'll be the one laughing when you're 85 and you can still move around really well. All right, so now we're gonna do some cat and cow stretches from a seated position. So as you inhale, look forward and bring your chest forward, kind of arching your back. Oh my tank top keeps wanting to come up. And then as you exhale, round, holding onto your knees to keep from falling backwards. Inhale forward, taking your time here. Exhale, round. And now sitting up tall, this is another one of my favorites. We're gonna stretch up and over. For you, it could be to the right or the left. And now let's come across and stretch up and over to the other side and across. And now I'm going to reach this right hand behind my hip, and I'm just going to open up with this top arm. And I'm really squeezing my shoulder blades in and pressing my chest forward to get some opening and stretch through the front of my chest and in the shoulders. My neck is just a little bit tucked here. All right, releasing on this side, I'm just gonna kind of move my shoulders around, shrug and release. And now we're gonna do the other side. So reaching behind your hip, open up big, and I'm just tucking my chin a little bit, like I'm holding a little orange in my chin here. And I'm not really bouncing here, I'm just kind of gently opening up a little deeper. You don't want to be super bouncy because then you can overstretch ligaments, which can really hurt you. But it's okay to pulse just a little bit. All right, interlace the fingers, and I'm gonna round here, bringing chin to chest, and then stacking up those vertebrae. Stretch up and over to one side, and up and over to the other side. Release those hands behind you, and I'm going to interlace those hands and open. And I'm going to move a little bit from side to side here. Let's shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and then release. shrug up and release down. Let's do that one more time. Shrug up and release. Close your eyes. Now that you're sitting up nice and tall, let's just take a few breaths here. And it's okay to have thoughts in the background, but see if you can keep your focus on the practice and kind of set anything else aside. All right, let's get a little bit of love to our wrists now. I'm going to circle around one way and then circle around in the opposite direction. And now gently I'm going to stretch one wrist here. Just taking the opposite hand here and gently pressing. Not pressing so that it hurts, it's just kind of a delicious little stretch here. And other hand. If you feel pain here, then stop. We don't want to irritate any areas that are inflamed. And shake it out. And let's come into a forward fold. So uncrossing the legs, I'm going to bring my weight into my feet. And I like this just little squat here. You may have to be up on your toes here. Either way, it's good to be in this position sometimes. All right, now we're going to gently straighten out the legs. So coming forward, straighten them just as much as you need to, and you can have your hands on, you can keep your knees bent, you can have your hands on your thighs or your shins. I'm going to straighten out all the way and just gently sway here. I'm going to let my fingers go. And then bringing my hands down, I'm going to do a few squats here. So lowering down, and you can come down further if you want, or just a little bit. And then straightening. Lower down. And straighten. And see, now I'm just going to lower a little bit. You can do like that. And straighten. Lower down. And straighten. All right, let's roll up. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Here in my face. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, bring your hands to your hips. We're going to do a few hip circles here. So unlock your knees here. You want them to be nice and loose. Feet are about hips width distance, and we're just going to do like we have a hula hoop here. And again, the purpose of this is we tend to get stiff because we just move in these fixed planes. And we want to maintain mobility here. And other direction. And if your hip motion isn't quite as fluid, that's okay. Just move within your range of motion as best as you can. All right, settle down in the middle. I'm gonna bring my feet a little closer. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, look up. And now I'm gonna bend my knees, plant my hands, and I'm gonna come onto all fours here. And now I'm gonna rock forward and back a little bit, kind of coming forward and then back into child's pose to kind of warm up the shoulders. So rocking forward and back, forward and back. And try to keep your head down here if you can, rather than looking up at me, so that your spine is one nice long line. And now let's come down onto our bellies to do a little bit of work with the neck. So first, let's just relax a little bit here. Just fold your arms and rest your forehead here. Maybe turning a little bit from side to side. And then gently come up. Your hands can be either kind of forward in a triangle as mine are, or forward like this, or you can come down a little lower if this is too deep of a back bend for you. And then what we're gonna do is your legs can come a little wider. That'll release tension also. You're gonna look over one shoulder and then slowly turn and look over the other shoulder. And let's keep doing this. Slowly turn from side to side. Okay, now we're going to increase the range of motion here. So I'm going to look kind of demurely over my right shoulder here, and then slowly bringing my chin towards my chest and then towards the other shoulder. Slowly down and to the other side. And let's come back to center. Let's take a little break here. So just resting your forehead on your arms. Give the neck a break. And let's come up again, and we're gonna do another exercise for the upper back and neck. So first you're gonna lift up through the upper back here and kind of bring your head back, and then just release here. Just kind of let it all fall. All right, lift, pulling everything in, pulling the belly in, lifting up between the shoulder blades, and release. And again, I do this a few more times. And release. And again, lift. And release. Now just one more time. Lifting up. And release. All right, cross your arms here. We're gonna bring the legs up and just gently windshield wiper, releasing any tension in the low back. And let's press up and back. Curl the toes under, and we're gonna make our way to downward facing dog. Let's walk out this dog. And let's kind of tilt from side to side a little bit. Tilt your hips to one side and then tilt your hips to the other side. And now bend your knees, look forward, and straighten, press back. Bend a little bit and straighten. Keep going. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Help it all the way up to the top of your mat. We're gonna come into a crescent lunge. So lift up, oops, sorry, my belly's showing. Okay, bring the pinkies to face each other, shoulders down. Back heel is lifted. And now I'm going to open up from crescent lunge into warrior two. So bringing both legs together so that the front heel intersects the middle of the back foot, which is flat. And let's come down, and I'm going to drop this back heel and scooch that foot up just a little bit, coming into a kneeling lunge here. Coming up, I'm going to twist over towards this right side. And now let's just stretch up and over. And coming back to center, you want to tuck the tail a little bit here, and we're going to just lean forward to get a stretch in the front of the hip. All right, release, come back onto all fours. Curl the toes under and make your way to downward facing dog for the other side. Inhale the left leg up, step it through or help it through, and we're going to make our way up to crescent lunge. And if you're having a hard time staying balanced, you can bring those legs a little bit wider. Check your front knee and make sure that it's pointed towards the outside of your mat and not collapsing inward. All right, let's transition to warrior two. Back foot comes flat, front foot's gonna toe heel over. And from there you can just refine your pose as needed. Okay, let's come down. I'm going to bring the back leg forward and make my way into a lunge here. And I'm going to gently twist over to the left side. resting one arm on the leg. I'm going to stretch up and over. This is kind of a variation of gate pose. Coming back to center, tuck your tail, tuck your pelvis under here, and then we're going to lean forward to get a stretch in the front of the hip. Okay, let's release. We're going to come back onto all fours. And we're gonna rock forward and back again, just like we did earlier in the practice, kind of coming to child's pose and then rocking forward. And then we'll do our standing lunges again. Standing, kneeling lunges. All right, curl the toes under, lift the knees up and press back for downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, exhale, step it through, make your way up to crescent lunge. Adjust your top as necessary, shoulders down. Nice proud lunge here. Again, knee is towards the outside of the mat, not collapsing inward. Okay, let's transition to warrior two. Back foot's gonna come down, front foot's gonna toe heel to bisect that back foot. And I'm gonna cartwheel it down and drop this back knee. Okay, I'm gonna bring it a little further forward here. And coming up, I'm gonna just twist to the right side. Now variation on gate pose. Rest the right hand on the right thigh and stretch up and over. And now getting the front of the psoas here. Tuck the tail and lean forward to get a stretch in the hip. This is an area that tends to get really tight. And when it gets too tight, that can be problematic. So we want to stretch out the hips a lot to maintain mobility. And let's get the other side. So coming back to downward dog, make your way up. Float that left leg up and step it through. Making your way up. Arms up, shoulders down. Oops, and I need to adjust that knee. It was kind of collapsing in. Now it's pointing the way it should. Right, back foot comes down, toe heel that foot in, and coming into warrior two. Make your way down, and I'm going to drop that back knee, bring the front foot just a little bit back, and I'm going to twist over towards the left. Better check how I'm doing for time here. Coming back up, left hand to left leg. Let's stretch up and over, variation on gate pose here. tuck your tail, lean forward, get a stretch through the front of the hip. And then come onto all fours again. And we're gonna rock and roll here. So staying on the knees, or you can lift them up if you want this to be a little bit more vigorous. I'm gonna rock forward and back. And now I'm going to come onto my belly, and I'm going to do a movement for the upper back here. And then just imagining that there's an invisible block here, or you can put an actual block in front of you. I'm going to have one arm just underneath, kind of resting my head, and the other arm I'm just going to lift like I'm karate chopping here. Just to get a little bit of movement in the upper back. And now I'm going to switch arms. So crossing the other arm under, I'm going to karate chop with this other hand. And I'm not chopping super hard here. I'm not going to even break a piece of paper. I'm just kind of gently going through the movement. Kind of activating these muscles in the upper back that for me tend to get very tight. All right. Now bringing my arms to my sides, I'm going to come up a little bit here, just lifting these arms up. And cross my arms now. I'm just going to release. And coming up onto all fours again. If this is uncomfortable, you can put some cushion underneath. I'm going to kind of sweep down and up. Sweep and up. And if this feels weird, you can kind of you can make it shorter. Your arms are probably a little bit long here. But we're just trying to get some movement in the upper back. Bring this arm in front of me, and I'm going to round and extend. And I'm not doing the back leg as well, because I want to just focus on the upper back today. And release. Okay, let's get the other side. So sweep up and down. Kind of gently following my hand with my gaze. And now I'm going to bring that arm in front of me and round. Extend. Now imagine that you're in a wine barrel or a big whiskey barrel or something. Hopefully that doesn't trigger any cravings for you. And we're just gonna move our rib cage around a little bit here as if we're trying to touch all sides of the barrel. So going over to the left, down to the side, and then lifting up and just circling around as smoothly as we can here. Okay, let's go the other direction now. And now bringing the hands into prayer position, we're just gonna do a little bit of a stretch here. And now coming forward, let's come into our half pigeon stretch. So bringing one leg forward, you're gonna gently make your way back here. And you might stay up here if it feels better for you, or if you like, you can gently make your way down. Gently come up, and I'm gonna grab this back toe. You may not be able to do this, and just tug it towards me. That feels good. If it doesn't for you, don't worry about it. Okay, and let's get the other side. So making your way back, you're gonna bring the other shin forward, square those hips, find a comfortable position, and then make your way down. Slowly come up, and if it feels good, you can tug this back foot towards you. And now let's come onto our backs. I'm gonna put my jacket on because it's a little bit cold. And I'm gonna grab my tennis balls as I'm lying down and put them underneath my neck. Just use this as a chance to get some release in the back of my neck here, starting way up at the base. Just kind of tilting rocking my head from side to side. I'm gonna kind of move down a little bit. And I'm just gonna relax. I'm gonna bring this little pouch underneath my shoulders. I'm gonna move around a little bit and see if I can release tension there. Walk your feet up, and we're going to roll over to one side, and then I'm going to turn towards you so you can see what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to do a little bit more release in the back here, in the upper back. Okay, so I'm going to lower you down just a bit here. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, so from your side here, lying on your side, I'm just relaxing my top arms lifted, but it can be bent or whatever feels good for you. I'm going to take this top arm and just open and close a little bit here, just like we were doing before. Open and close. And now I'm going to kind of come into like a cactus arm and reach up and bend. Reach up and bend. And now with the cactus arm, I'm going to open and close here. All right, let's do the other side. So So I'm going to come around. You can just turn away from me if you want, but I'm going to turn on to the other side. And then same thing here. I'm going to just rest my head on my arm, and I'm going to open with the arm back and close. Open and close. Getting a nice twist on the spine here. We tend to get pretty tight here with tension, but also hunched over devices. All right, let's open, and we're gonna bend this arm and then straighten, reach up, bend, straighten. And now close and open in that cactus arm. All right, let's come to a seated position. Thank you for practicing with me today. Bring your hands to heart center and your thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place.